Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to Module 6, Chapter 10. We got to read Chapter 10, Professional Ethics in the Living. Ethics is going to be complex, but the book does a really good job of really going into details that you wouldn't think about from an ethical perspective. With that being said, I do have a lecture. It's not the full 15 minutes, so it's kind of short. There's a ton of detail in the lecture, but from the textbook perspective, I think it gives a great overview, so I'm not going to bore you with a repetition. So be sure to watch that. I also encourage you to watch the Module 6 additional lecture. I recorded this a bit back, but it's really interesting. It talks about ethics. I actually share a story about a provider who actually never went to school and still provided care to people. Definitely an ethical concern, an ethical issue, and was held responsible for that. So take a look at the video. It's pretty interesting. It's also about 13 minutes long. So 2 lectures here that I think will be helpful for you. One, of course, is based on the textbook, and the other is based on material that I think is important from an ethical perspective. All right. So you have both both PowerPoints used. One for the lecture from the Cengage text, and the other for my lecture. And then you also have some engaging material here. One being minor consent in Washington State. So providing healthcare to minors, I think is important to know. Not that you'll run into it, but there's certain things you don't need consent for as an adult. There's some things your minor doesn't need consent for if you have a child. And as an adult, it's important to know these things. So take a look at it. It's not super complex. Most states have similar laws in place, but there are some unique things here in Washington State that you should be aware of. So take a look at that when you get a minute. All right. I do have one new thing. Of course, we just talked about the minor consent. Take a look at that. Of course, you're going to have your review questions. Module 6 review questions are going to be due end of week, and that, of course, is on the 13th. But I wanted to bring up, we have something new that's due this week, a lecture question. So moving forward, we'll have a few lecture questions. This is really going to help us with PPS, making sure that you're engaged in the subject. But this lecture question is going to have, of course, a question listed by me, and all you have to do is reply with an answer of at least 50 words. So the question for this week is, when thinking about the physician-patient relationship, how can we legally protect ourselves as caregivers when working with vulnerable individuals? So what you do is you click on the Module 6 lecture question link, and you create a thread, and you document your thoughts on how to protect yourself when you're working with patients. And in a healthcare setting in general, right? Not that patients are going to cause harm by any means, but we always have to protect ourselves as well as take care of patients. So take a look at the lecture question. Be sure to answer that, and you can do it from a PTA perspective. That's totally fine. So, just think about it in whatever capacity that you want. Just make sure that you have an answer. 50 words minimum by Sunday at midnight. I'm not sure why it says short week there, probably because it was a holiday in a prior session. It also said that on the course schedule. I removed that, and I'll remove this here in a bit. It's not a short week, it's a full week. All right, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you enjoyed this chapter. I sure did, and I'm looking forward to seeing what your thoughts are on the lecture question. Thanks again.